You can point us out.
Plus, I saw the big banners coming in here from the Grammy Museum. Did you see those?
Yes, yeah, the,
Was
I
that
found-
coordinated with your book?
what's that?
Was
What's
that coordinated with your book?
Not so much. My publisher tried, made an attempt actually. I found out not long before the book was to be released that they were planning on putting on this exhibit, which is named, I think, California Dreaming, over at the Grammy Museum, which is specifically looking at this very time and place. And my book was scheduled for release on April 30th, and I think that exhibit opened like literally like a week later, or something, within a week or two. And so I very excitedly called my publisher to let him know, to see if we could, work some kind of promotional tie-in. And he contacted them and apparently got a very cold show. And what I found out once they actually got the exhibit up and running is that they had to work very closely with a lot of these artists and a lot of their estates or whatnot, for the ones that are no longer here, to get the actual artifacts that they have on display. They have like the so-and-so's piano that he wrote this song on or whatever, and somebody else's guitar. And so they had to have direct involvement with a lot of these people, and there's no way that any of them would have wanted to be involved if they had thought that I had any connection to this thing at all, I'm sure. So yeah, I don't think I'm really welcome over at the Grammy Museum right now.
Well, I think you titled it though, California Dreamin' is perfect.
I am curious to go see it myself though. Has anybody been yet? There were signs for it all down Laurel Canyon as I was coming in here on the signpost. There's banner ads for it. So I hope to get over there to see it, but I probably won't introduce myself while I'm there.
Yeah. Wear a broad-brimmed hat. Now, the way I understand it, most of what is in this book you used to have on your website.
Correct. Well,
Still on.
yeah, I'd say about 2/3 of it. Yeah, I had.
And then when the book started coming out, you wiped most of it out.
I did. Partly because my publisher wanted me to do so, because it's now copyrighted material, and he's got a big financial investment in bringing this thing to the market, and it's not fair to him to have a freebie version basically circulating out in the cybersphere.
Let me know about this first so I could have copied some.
And also I did a lot of extra work on it. I really did. On the website it was a work in progress. So I would write a specific blog post about a specific person or band or whatever, and then I would get a lot of feedback from readers pointing me in the direction of where I could find additional information. And one of the reasons that it's as richly detailed as it is thanks to all of my readers who, throughout the whole 4-year or whatever process that I was doing this as a web series, were continuously, hey, did you know that this guy also, and and they give me all these links and whatnot. And so I'd, come across material about somebody after I had, so then I'd have to kind of tuck that into a later post. And also because it was going up as blog posts, there was a lot of topical references to things that were going on at the time, little asides that I threw in that work with blog posts, but that wouldn't really work in a book at all, just wildly out of place. So I had to go through and take all of that, not irrelevant material out and do a lot of cutting and pasting to rearrange stuff to get it into the right chapters. And the end result was that I ended up with a whole bunch of very choppy, just very, very, very choppy chapters that needed a whole lot of rewriting to smooth them out. And then I also added a lot of all new content. At the urging of my publisher, I got my associate Nick Bryant to write a foreword, a brand new foreword. I myself wrote a new preface. I think I wrote 5 or 6 all new chapters, a new epilogue, and various other parts that were added, dedication and acknowledgement page and an author bio page, a full bibliography, a full index. So it's a completely different work, much more complete, much more refined, work now than it was when it was on the internet. So that's another reason I took it down, is because it's kind of like having a rough draft of the book floating around that you know, detracts from the fact that there's now a brand, you know, new, polished, cleaned up. And I put, I don't know how many hours into proofreading and editing this, and recruited various family members to proofread it and edit it for me, and I had two of the people at my publishers proofread and edit it, and I'm very obsessive. I'm kind of a perfectionist in everything I do, and I wanted to make sure it was absolutely the best product that it could possibly be before it went out. And that's one of the reasons that I stopped writing books. My previous book was published in 2004, so it's been 10 years since I put anything out in print. I've just worked exclusively on the internet since then. And one of the reasons is because I realized after my first few books that the books have a permanence that's not always good, because if you make a mistake in there, whether a misstatement of fact or a typo or whatever, it's there forever. You know, whereas web posts, I can, you know, people point out, hey, you know, there's a typo, and I can go and correct it and repost it, and voila, it's you know, that typo's gone. And you can't do that with a book. You get one chance, and once it's out there, it's out there. So I obsessed over it for a really, really long time. So yeah, hopefully, I believe it's the best telling of this story that I could have possibly done, and so I hope everyone.
I enjoyed the.
Tapped.
I enjoyed the web page part of it. Now that I know that there's a lot of new stuff in here, I'm going to try to find.
There's
all
quite
that.
a bit, and a couple of the chapters were augmented with additional information. So there's new chapters, and there's new little nuggets of stuff sprinkled throughout, and you know, like I say, and it's all indexed now, so it's a much better reference material, reference source than it was before, and. The bibliography, which a lot of people complained about when it was online, they're like, well, where's your sources for all this? Where are you getting all this from? And, so yeah, so it's a much more complete and package now. And so, anyone else?
Yeah, speaking of sources, do you have any luck contacting the original players and the?
I did not really even attempt it. You know,
Have
as
they tried to contact you, any of them?
No. I've been told, you know, secondhand that people are aware of it by email, but, you know, whether that's true or not, I have no idea. A couple of people have contacted me to tell me that the Zappa family was aware of it as a web series, and were none too happy. But, you know, I have no idea if that's true or not. You know, I get these unsourced anonymous emails, and they all just go in the trash because I have no idea who these people are and whether they're trying to sabotage my, you know. People try to feed me information all the time that's like unsourced. For, oh, a friend of mine, you know, used to live next door to so-and-so, and, you know, I don't use that kind of stuff because I have no idea where it's coming from, you know, so, you know, I get a lot of strange email and sidestep most of it, so. I forgot what your question actually was.
That was it. You answered it. Yeah. Reaching out to the people that were playing over at the time.
Anybody threatened to sue you yet?
No one has threatened to sue. Well, actually, Robert Carl Cohen did when it was online. He's the film director that made the Mondo Hollywood, the notorious Mondo Hollywood film that featured people like Jay Sebring and Bobby Beausoleil and Vito and Carl and Sue and Godot and various other in this cast of characters just happened to show up in this movie, and so it was referenced in a not very flattering way in the web series, and he was none too happy and sent me a couple emails threatening legal action and whatnot, but he never followed up on it. So.
Your publisher wasn't worried about being sued?
You know, he doesn't seem to be. The book has gotten like 3 or 4 online reviews from, you know, not from like big name publications, but from, you know, places I've never even heard of, and two of those reviews actually mention us, they were rave reviews, but they both kind of mentioned in an offhand way that I hope there's no lawsuits that come out of this. So, but they don't seem to be worried about it, and it was published in the UK, which, to my understanding, they have much stricter libel and slander laws than we do here. So if he wasn't very confident that this material was documented, they would not have published it. So. So far so good. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyone else?